I want you to send this video to anybody who doesn't understand as to why Beyoncé Cowboy Carter album, the album, got Album of the Year. And I'll send it to a Billie Eilish fan who doesn't understand as to why it got, Beyoncé got this award over Billie Eilish's album or Sabrina Carpenter's album. But in this video, we are going to be talking about specifically Billie Eilish versus Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter album. I would try and leave timestamps, but we will be talking about breaking down the significance and the components as to why Beyoncé's album is so great and deserves and earned Album of the Year according to the Grammys. We'll also be talking about Billie Eilish's album and what people are saying in regards to that. And then we'll also be talking about what people online are saying in regards to Beyoncé's album, and then going into a voter out of the 13,000 members of the Grammy Academy. There's a voter who came on TikTok and broke it down and explained why Beyoncé's album deserves Album of the Year according to the Grammys. And then we'll be ending off of the arguments that I'm hearing from Billie Eilish's fans as to why Cowboy Carter does not deserve Album of the Year, and also as to why Billie Eilish's Hit Me Hard and Soft album should get Album of the Year. Now, you're probably wondering, who am I? My name is MJ. I talk about the things that I'm about, and I triple loved Grammys 2025, the Grammy Awards show, which was like 4 to 5 hours ending into midnight into 1 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. I thought it was an incredible show. The Grammys totally get it right. I do want to conclude on my take on the Grammys at the very end, but we are going to be focusing on Beyoncé and Billie Eilish. And I want to make my channel kind of like a safe space for those who want to share their opinions on this entire topic, on the whole Billie Eilish of it all album, and then Cowboy Carter. Definitely leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Even if you think your take is completely cray-cray, completely crazy, I want to hear your take down below. This kind of elicited a conversation I wanted to have with people on the internet on why exactly you think Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish's album, deserved Album of the Year over Cowboy Carter. Now, I'm hearing a lot of takes online, and a lot of people are talking about all different types of arguments and all different types of takes, which I'll talk about towards the end. But a lot of the takes are weird and borderline racist. And people are not acknowledging their racial bias when having this conversation. Now, I will be talking about right now, specifically in this segment, as to why Cowboy Carter is so good and why people love Cowboy Carter and what makes it a great album. Now, I'm not going to specifically talking about as to why Grammys specifically chose this. That will be later on in this video. But yeah, sit back, grab your snack, adjust your seat. We'll be going into it. I definitely want this video to be that video so you can share it to those who truly do not understand the components as to what makes Cowboy Carter, the album, so great. And I really want to open up a conversation to have that conversation today. Open up a space to have that conversation today. So we will be talking about the 10 takeaways as to why Beyoncé's new album, Cowboy Carter, is so great. So the first takeaway that we are going to talk about today is going to be, of course, it's Western epic. So there are a lot of components to this actual album, and we're gonna break it down. Okay, so the first take is it's sprawling Western epic. Just as Beyonce's 2022 album Act One Renaissance served as a world-building homage to the unsung Black queer youth who created house music, Cowboy Carter continues the lesson plan. In a statement soon after the album's worldwide release, the artist Parkwood Entertainment shared that each song on the 27-track project is its own version of a reimagined Western film. Think about it. I want everybody to really open up their mind open up their mind as to what I'm trying to say. Open up their mind and how people are viewing Cowboy Carter if you truly do not understand, okay? So Western films like Five Fingers for Marcelli's, Urban Cowboy, The Hateful Eight, Space Cowboys, The Harder They Fall, and of course Killers of the Flower Moon, often having the films playing on a screen during the recording process. Each track in this album, whether an interlude, collaboration of poignant solo, rides out like a full-length film full of scenic grandeur, character and conflicts that any Chitlin circuit aficionado or spaghetti Western cinephile can obsess over. As a whole, Cowboy Carter serves as a well-discovery full of samples, sonic Easter eggs, Knowles family callbacks, and most importantly, an appreciation for pioneers in the country world. The second take, with their searing image of its titular central character. So Beyonce finds her ideal figure of the American West and South. She cites the rodeo as first place where anyone who loved country music and culture would gather and mingle and feel welcome and connect. It's an image that runs counter to the experience that inspired the album. Performing her song Daddy Lessons at the CMA, remember? And this kind of stemmed from her experience with the CMA, where Beyonce didn't really feel welcome. People at the CMAs did not really appreciate her version of country. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to put out a country album that is my version of country. And it is country. Like, what people don't understand is that country music is not genre, which we're going to get into, is putting yourself in a box. You can redefine genre. And that's kind of what Beyonce did with this entire album, right? So Beyonce said in Daddy Lessons, she did not feel, and at the CMAs, like when she was performing Daddy Lessons, she said she did not feel welcomed. And it was very clear that she wasn't welcome. Like I said, the Cowboy Carter character exists in conversation with the history of Black cowboys, the loaded meaning behind the term and its function in the American imagination. The third take, it's a country album. Okay, it's clearly a country album. Okay, that's the other take I'm seeing online as well, that this is not a country album, that is not really a country album, and it shouldn't be considered for any country music awards. There are plenty categorically country sounds on Cowboy Carter. String instruments are its sonic heartbeat, and the do-si-do of the slide guitar on Desert Eagle, the song, and Texas Hold'em, the song. If anybody's coming up to you and telling you that they don't know, like nobody they know listen to the Cowboy Carter, or this is the first time they're hearing the Cowboy Carter, that's incorrect, because everybody knows Texas Hold'em, and Texas Hold'em was high up on the Billboard charts. Okay, the jovial wiggle of the accordions on Riverdance, the song, tip a hat to Zydeco music and the artist's Creole heritage. Protector, the song, is anchored by acoustic guitar. Sweet Honey, bucket, bucket, bucket. Interpolates, I Fall to Pieces, the shuffling standard made famous by Patsy Cline. Compared to Bey's past work in an R&B world full of glitz and glamour, many moments on the album, even with their layered arrangements, feel like intimate jam sessions straight out of a Nashville writing camp. The fourth take. Do you guys know, like, a lot of people go to writing, a lot of artists go to writing camps? I think that's what Doechii did. Doechii, who got the best rap album of 2024. Like, she's amazing. I love her so much. Do you guys know that Doechii went on a writing camp? A lot of your famous artists went to writing camps to hone in on their writing skills. So not only is this album classically a country album, it's also not, because it plays on, hip hop, bluegrass, Chicano rock. Do you guys know, like, Latin people and of course Black people created country music? Historically. Like, it came from Black and Spanish people. So Chicano rock, pop rock, Jersey club music, and operations run. So for instance, the song Yaya conjures the charisma of Tina Turner and Chuck Berry while winking in the direction of Nancy Sinatra and the Beach Boys. Bodyguard, the song, is a breezy soft rock romp with a Latin percussion and a little whiskey on its breath. Amen, the song, rings to the rafters in true gospel splendor. And of course, one of my favorites, Sweet Honey, bucket, stacks genre upon genre and yet but yet doesn't overwhelm. Instead, it connects the dots between dusty horse gallops. The production credits stretch far beyond the scope of industry, far beyond the scope of country stalwarts, making the album a treasure hunt for fans and issuing a challenge to the ways country music has come to be defined. So, not only is this equivocally a country album, it's also equivocally something that has been challenging country music, which we'll touch upon in a second. But this, of course, has a great Americana icons to set the tone. We have Willie Nelson, who once bucked the Nashville sound himself, stands in as the host of Country KNTRY Radio Texas, Beyonce's fictional pirate station. Dolly Parton draws a line from Becky with the good hair to Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. And turns up again before Tyrant, encouraging Beyonce to light up a juke point. And then we have Linda Martell, of course, in a prelude to one of the album's most adventurous cuts, Spaghetti, the song, trailblazing black woman, trailblazing black country star of the 70s, lays out a sort of mission statement. Genres are a funny little concept, aren't they? Yes, they are. In a theory, they have a simple definition that's easy to understand. But in practice, well, some may feel confined. That's what I feel like Linda Martell sounds like, even though I've never heard of Linda Martell. And you're learning. It's like an education. It's kind of like reading a book, like Black history. Like, you're learning about Black country music. And it's funny too. Now, like I said, not only does it incorporate country music, it's unequivocally country music, it incorporates other genres, and then it challenges country music and the country genre. And this is how it does that. There are covers of country classics that stand out for how stealthily I can't pronounce words, they're reimagined. Parton's 1973 hit Jolene, which there's a lot of conversation about that. Like, a lot of people love the original Jolene, and people didn't like the fact that she kind of reworked Jolene into the way, Beyonce sees the word Jolene, or in the message that Beyonce was trying to prove to you guys, trying to create, because she's using the song as a piece in her puzzle, like as a chapter in the book that is Cowboy Carter. So Jolene shows up early in the album, but Beyonce adds her own sauce to flip its storied narrative. So a vigilant bay clocks the bird chirping round her man, unlike Dolly, who responds to a similar threat with a plea for mercy. She puts her rival on notice. I'm warning you. Woman, find you your own man. Jolene, I know I'm a queen. Jolene, I'm still a Creole Banji B from Louisiana. So she puts her own spin to it. This twist renegotiates the common push and pull of Rolling Stone, damsel in distress, infidelity. That's historically been a hallmark in country standards and has only recently started to shift. Okay? And you can see this in Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats. I love that song, Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. I love it so much. Excuse me. Take number 7. Of course, we have the unsung pioneers on there. We have Martell, which we talked about. Martell made history with her 1970 album Color Me Country. So you're probably wondering, who's Linda Martell? She's a pioneer in country music. So she was the first Black woman to perform on the storied Grand Ole Opry. But because of the racist aggression and racism itself, she endured when moving from pop to country. Martell soon left the business. Now, at 82 years old, Martell's getting her due. Her voice is immortalized on both Spaghetti and the Linda Martell Show, both tracks that play hopscotch with a range of genres. This is Martell, so let me I am proud that Beyoncé is exploring her country music roots. What she is doing is beautiful, and I'm honored to be part of it. It's Beyoncé after all. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Like, what people don't get is that Beyoncé it's not just, the Beyoncé, the icon. It's the talent that she possesses that people envy, admire, and respect, okay? So the 8th take, Cowboy Carter shines a light on the stars of country's new age. So if you want to know, like, what is country currently in in the 2020s, who is taking over country, who is trying to redefine country in 2024, 2025, and who do we want to push forward? This is what Beyonce also tries to highlight in the album as well. So a recent study tracking country music programming from 2000 through 2020 revealed that only 29% of country songs played on format radio were by women artists. And of the 29%, 0.01% are Black. Can you believe, are Black women? Can you believe that a race who created country music is dominated by a race that did not create country music? Okay. And then that race who did not create country music is telling, the race that did, that you're not country. Like, it's so insane. And that's why the CMAs did not nominate Beyonce, because they think that Cowboy Carter is not country music. To me, not only is that racist, it's also because again, Beyonce's Cowboy Carter is country music. You know what I mean? But it's a slap in the face. And by not nominating Beyonce, in my personal opinion, the CMAs, to me, just I can't even say the word. Basically took them out of the running on, as an award show. Oh my Lord, I can't speak today, y'all. Anyways, we don't take the CMA seriously anymore, is what I'm trying to say. They've made it clear they only want white people part of it. Because I'm pretty sure even Shabuzi, was he even nominated at the CMAs? Was Shabuzi nominated? Yeah, think about that. So we have 0.01% of Black women, Black women represents a race that created country music that is represented in country music today, right? And so along with honoring pioneers, Cowboy Carter platforms new stars in the field who are still working their way through its entrenched gatekeeping and redlining, right? So we have Texas Hold'em that has Rhiannon Giddens, who plays on the banjo. Do you guys know the banjo came from Africa? Clocky. Just Google it. Where did the banjo come from? Just Google it, okay? And then we have Shabuzi. I love me Shabuzi. He's from Virginia. And in his 2022 release, Cowboys Live Forever, Outlaws Never Die, Offered songs for post Old Town Road, country rap world. Cuts through 2 tracks with his unforgettable tone. So I love the fact that Shabuzi's music is like more rap country, right? Blackbird on Cowboy Carter vocals all the beautiful women artists that we saw on Christmas Day in 2024 in the halftime of that NFL Netflix show, which was incredible, which I loved. We saw Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tiara Kennedy, and Raina Roberts, which are rising stars in the country genre. This soulful cover of the Beatles classic Blackbird, which I love, about Black women's plight and resilience during the American Civil Rights movement, puts its subject in a spotlight that country radio rarely does, bringing home the reality that opportunities for artists like these have scarcely grown in the years since Linda Martell broke ground in the 1970s. Okay, and then the 9th take. So if you want to know why Miley Cyrus and Post Malone were like randomly in the album, and when it came out last year in 2024, I was like, what in the world? I mean, I honestly thought it was random, but I knew because of who Beyoncé is and the brilliance that she is, the woman that she is, there is a reason as to why Miley Cyrus and Post Malone is on there, and I'm going to tell you why they're on there. It saddles up over the pop country middle ground. So there have been a few artists in the music space that's been trying to build a gap or trying to highlight the relationship between country and pop. And that's what Post Malone and Miley Cyrus has been doing. So this is the reason why Miley Cyrus and Post Malone is on there, because Beyonce wants to highlight, again, the different genres that kind of borders country, that includes country, that has a relationship with country. So Beyonce is a pop star, as we all know, and actively in conversation with the idea of country music, and traversing the distance between those genres seems to have made her consider their existing relationships between them. Like I said, right? In 2 moments on the album, she enlists singers like Miley Cyrus and Post Malone. So we all know Miley. Miley is the daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus, who goes, "My achy breaky heart." Listen, if YouTube copyrights me, that is our confirmation that I'm an amazing singer, and I'm not even mad at that. Okay. So Miley, throughout her career, does this pursuit of a pop identity outside of her father's country identity, right? Fiddled with Mike Will Trap, Flaming Lip Psychedelia, glam rock, because remember she had that glam rock era, and country pop before settling on the centering sounds of last year's Endless Summer Vacation. Now, Miley is like really good at exploring different genres that kind of borderline do country, glam rock, and that again helps to expand what country music is traditionally is, according to honestly white people. So that's Miley Cyrus. Now Post Malone does a lot of trap rock star. Trap rock star actually also includes country. So Post Malone broke out as a watercolor trap rock star and has since shifted toward a sound more in line with his Texas roots. Both seem to resonate with the ambiguity Beyonce seems to be running through the music. So Beyonce not only, okay, I'll conclude at the end, but let me just say this. There's also tons of like rhinestone behind this like gorgeous album. There's other delicious things rising underneath. So Beyonce also features many guests on there. So other behind the scenes contributors help tell the story. So The Dream, Pharrell, No IDs on this album, Raphael Sadiq, Ryan Tedder, Ryan Beatty, Switz Beats, as we know, all helped produce the record. It also boasts an incredibly accomplished cast of supporting players. Pulitzer-winning folk revivalist Gideons, which I know. Grammy-winning soul man John Batiste, which we also know. Session luminary Nile Rodgers. Gospel pedal stylist Robert Randolph. Blues rocker Gary Clark Jr., hip-hop banjoist Willie Jones, and the incomparable Stevie Wonder. The incredible variety of names and skills is the secret sauce behind Cowboy Carter's sprawling vision. So, in conclusion, if I were to conclude all of that, Beyonce is so good because it is country music, and she challenges herself in doing a genre that she normally doesn't do. She talks about the different other genres that borderline that helps to push the boundaries on country, and then she does different country genres as well. So she talks about the ambiguous genres that includes country itself, and she also incorporates new genres. She highlights the rising Black voices, people of color, racialized voices that are in the country music today, and also the voices that have tried to expand what country music can look like and could look like. And of course, it also talks about the historical significance, and it brings an odds to the pioneers of country music, and it tells a story. And what people also do not understand as well, each and every song is kind of goes in chronological order from beginning to end, beginning with the history, and then kind of ending, with, like music that kind of looks like what Beyonce usually sings nowadays, but that's really pushing the genres of where country music could be. And it's really cohesive, right? It's literally a chapter where you need to listen to it from beginning to end. And it's also very political, right? It goes against what America kind of defined what country music is, and it breaks that genre. It's an ambitious project that only a person who understands where Beyonce is coming from can actually go and sit down and go, that was great. Now, that's why I wanted to talk about as to why this album is amazing, the components of what this album is, because a lot of people honestly do not get it. And people just look at this as, this is country music. And because it's just doesn't have a lot of bops, I mean, people know 16 carriages. And then people go, this ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. Like those are viral songs. But because of the other songs aren't that viral, people are like, oh, it's not that great. But if we're talking about album of the year, we're not talking about individual songs. We're talking about album of the year. This is the album of the year. Now, I just gave you takes. Now, we're also going to go into the other argument. Before we go into that, we are now going to go into the Billie Eilish of it all. So what I'm hearing online is that a lot of people are talking about the Billie Eilish of it all. People are saying that, Billie Eilish's album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, it's very good. Now, I would like to say that I am a Billie Eilish fan. I am a diehard Beyonce fan, but I am also a Billie Eilish fan. I think Billie Eilish is an incredible vocalist, and I do think she has range if she pushes herself to. And she is a person who is truly a child prodigy. And when I heard her sing for the first time a few years back, I was like, holy, she sings like an angel. So now we're going to talk about the components of Hit Me Hard and Soft and the reasons why I particularly think it would never have won album of the year. Now, my favorite songs of the album are, of course, Birds of a Feather, You Stick Together, and I did. Those are two other songs too, but those are kind of the obvious. So Billie Eilish is honestly the music that she primarily provides is for young people. And her songs she treats songs as kind of like journal entries in her life. And her previous albums were kind of chronicle, detailing her life from beginning to end and the stage that she's in life. And currently in this particular album, she's clearly talking about love, love won, love lost, talking about exploring the different types of love, falling in love with a woman for the first time, falling out of love. And she's really exploring love. And there's a coming of age story because she's exploring all of this for the first time. And I truly did listen to the entire album, and the music is incredible. There's different types of genres that have been inspired through the music. However, with that being said, I just don't think it's not cohesive enough to meet the level of the Cowboy Carter album. Like I said, Cowboy Carter is more cohesive. It literally reads like a book. They're both telling a story, and more specifically, a history in time. And it truly incorporates country as it is today, as it once was, and where it could be. And it's impactful on the genre itself. It has impacted an entire generation. It created a conversation on country music. So it's incredibly impactful, right? It's political, it's cohesive. The production value in Cowboy Carter is incredible. The vocals, of course, like the layering, so there's all of that. Billie Eilish's music, there's tons of genres that's been inspired, but it's pretty much the same old stuff that she's been doing. So let me just say this. Okay. Billie Eilish's music, Hit Me Hard and Soft is very much a tell-all of what she's going through with her love life. Okay. So this is the least we've known about Billie Eilish is going into an album. For years, the star's journey was documented in yearly Vanity Fair interviews and candid documentaries. Even Carpool Karaoke visited Eilish's childhood home, where she still lived until recently. That seeming lack of boundaries between pop star and her audience is increasingly standard for megastars like, Taylor Swift. But Eilish's intimate music made her a particularly strong candidate for her parasociality. Now going into Hit Me Hard and Soft. To hear Eilish say it, the goal for Hit Me Hard and Soft was making an album ASS album, citing Coldplay's Viva La Vida and Vince Staples' Big Fish Theory as influencers. Those records are also ambitious pop mini epics where established artists show off their range, but there is usually an outsider like Brian Eno or Sophie to get the musician out of their comfort zone, which I honestly do not think Billie Eilish has gotten out of her comfort zone in this album. For the first time, Eilish's live drummer Andrew Marshall is on board, as well as the Attica Quartet playing arrangements orchestrated by Phineas and the prolific David Campbell. Never one to subscribe to a single genre, Eilish flits from minimalist trance to massive stadium rock, and the album has the same dense vocal layering and inventive percussion that make Phineas one of the most excessively documented producers in pop. But there is no true suave, just bigger versions of what they've already made. Even Coldplay dabbled in shoegaze, What experimentation exists where it demonstrates the siblings' strengths and limitations as they enter their third project together, but it's diminishing returns. So I could honestly put some of this music into her other albums. Like, it's more of the same old. Now, the theme of this album is different, that she's really exploring love and love loss, which we'll talk about some of the songs that does that. But the songs are really just like the title of the album. It's like a complete contrast. There's no cohesiveness to it. One song talks about her stalking a girl. The next, she wants somebody to come to her hotel room. It's like all over the place. It's kind of like life. It's kind of like love. It's a journal entry. It comes in and out. And we're going to talk about that. Let's talk about the music. And if you're hearing noises behind me speaking, my neighbor is shoveling snow. So I do apologize for the girls. Now, we're going to go into, so let's go into one of them. Okay. So the song Skinny. Here are the lyrics. A finger-picked guitar ballad that returns to the breezy sonics of Happier Than Ever to dismantle the destructive false equivalency of thinness and happiness. So here are the lyrics. 21 took a lifetime. People say I look happy just because I got skinny. But the old me is still me, and maybe the real me, and I think she's pretty. So here, Eilish's voice takes a quietly choral quality as if she's singing in an empty underwater cathedral. Impressive, right? Her tasteful riffs on the back half preview the unexpected parts of her range she'll flaunt later on the record, while the intentionality of her phrasing recalls the incisive heartbreaks of 2023's What Was I Made For. So it's impressive the way she's able. Sorry if the lighting is looking weird. The sun is setting. It's impressive, right? She's talking about, how, her turning 21. And then you go into Lunch, which people are saying is a clear standout single. It's a pretty good song. One person says that Lunch is clearly an immediate standout and clear radio single. Here is the lyrics. Said I bought you something rare and I left it under clear. A playful rhyme that built on her admission of alias usage in 2021's Billie Bossa Nova. The song unquestionably returns Eilish to the bass-driven feel of her debut, but she's older and wiser and freer from both her own mind and outside expectations. Another person says that Lunch is clearly made, again, as an anthem. Okay, the tune and Billie's flirty tongue and cheek vocal delivery really sells it. But people wish that the production had more to offer, other than these very dry drums and chords that hit on the beat. And then we continue on to Chihiro. Here's the lyrics of that. Open up the door, can you open up the door? Yes, this is the other song that I really like. Open up the door, can you open up the door? So she's clearly talking about, nodding to both her own closet and the walls put up by her lover she is willing to sacrifice anything for. In the song's refrain, Eilish employs falsetto that at its peak sounds just short of manic, emphasizing the frantic reverberations of obsession. The overreaching theme of Hit Me Hard Soft. Across the album, she delivers a virtually peerless understanding of how to manipulate her voice to best amplify the storytelling of her lyrics. The wistful, conventional tone she opts for. Birds of a feather, we stick together, and morphs into a breathtaking display of her range and balance across Wildflower and The Greatest. So it's quite clear, based off of what she's trying to pull across, she uses certain genres to really carry out her message of those lyrics. So it's quite clear that, again, as you can see, like each and every song has, like, she's trying to come off. That was just my neighbor. She's trying to portray an era in her life, a time in her life. So Wildflower, which people love. Eilish poses a question. Is it crossing the line to get with the person you're helping another person get over? At 22, she's finally understanding that what makes love so enticing. It's innate messiness and tension. Here are the lyrics. But every time you touch me, I just wonder how she felt Valentine's Day, crying in the hotel. I know you didn't mean to hurt me, so I kept it to myself. She croons, effectively rejecting verbosity for simplicity. The steady building of the song's instrumentation provides the perfect segue into their greatest, which is arguably Eilish's strongest, most arresting vocal performances yet. So each and every song kind of talks about, a love that she's exploring, love lost, a woman that she's exploring. So it's very up and down, and the sounds change per song. And as you can tell, the lyrics are not complex. Like it's quite easy. You could quite tell that the lyrics that that she's trying to get across here is very much juvenile, okay, but still yet mature than her previous albums. Some critics are saying that I wished her lyrics were a bit more complex. Uses the use of poems. And poetic, a structure to kind of carry out her lyrics, because she could do more with that. Now, in overall, as you can see, that she's exploring different ideas of love and love lost with different individuals in her life, and kind of goes up and down. There's no cohesiveness to it. And people have said that even though the sounds and the songs look amazing, the critique is that it's kind of more of the same. Number one. Number two, it's still not as mature. Okay, it's more mature than her previous albums, but it's not at the level of where we want her to be, kind of, right? And the third is that, it doesn't really challenge anything, right? It doesn't really challenge anything. And she Phineas and Billie kind of explore genres that people are currently exploring. They're not really innovating, doing something new like Cowboy Carter. And that goes into what the Grammys are really looking for when they are voting these type of things. So now, that is the Billie Eilish's album. That's pretty much a critique of it all. There is one person who goes in and goes, they say, overall, though in terms of songwriting and production, they think that this record is pretty good. However, it kind of seems, like I said, same old. The songs and lyrical ideas and themes throughout the record, the track list too, it's a lot more focused. It's a bit more focused, a bit more cohesive than the last albums, but it's still same old. The record knows exactly what it wants to be. It's not fun, interesting, and creative or unique sonic or narrative risks being taken around this record when compared to her last two albums. So there are no risks taken. And same old. However, it's still more cohesive and a bit more put together, a bit more mature than her last two albums. And yeah, that's what people are saying. So it's good, but it's not as great as Cowboy Carter. So now we're going to be talking about what the Grammys are specifically looking at when we are talking about album of the year. So we are going to be going into that now. And what people do not understand, that this is not the VMAs. The Grammys is not the VMAs. The Grammys is not the Billboard Music Awards. This is not the People's Choice Awards. We are talking about the Grammys. 13,000 people of your peers who are voting each other's work. Okay, so we're talking about, if I put my album in the ring, unless somebody nominates me, we have Beyonce voting, Beyonce's producer voting, Chris Brown voting, John Legend voting, we have Sabrina Carpenter voting. Like, these are the people who are voting. So I like to give a analogy. It's kind of like the Olympics. Okay, in the United States, we have amazing cyclists. Barely can say words today. Gymnastists. Cyclists. You have amazing cyclists in the United States, but when you go to Paris or Tokyo, or you go to whoever go to the Olympics, and you compete against Germany cyclists and Tokyo cyclists and India cyclists and cyclists in Brazil, you start to realize that you may not be the best of the best. You might be the best in maybe your genre, but not, or amongst your fans, but not the best amongst who have, against other people from across the world, or the best in regards to people who have been doing this for years, or the best amongst your peers. Like, you might be the best, in your hometown, in your fan base, but if we're comparing colleagues, you're competing against colleagues, so I do like Billie Eilish, and I think she's great, but honestly, guys, her album wasn't album of the year. So, and this is objectively so. Subjectively, I'm a Beyonce fan, but objectively, if we're looking at it, even critics agree that it was great, more cohesive, her album, but more solid. However, she could have done more. There's more. So let's go into a voter. So there's a person I follow, and he is part of the 13,000 members on the Grammy, in the Grammy Academy, and he votes music and works of art and albums and records and writers in the Grammy process. And let's see what he says in regards to why he chose all of this. So we're gonna go into that. So I really do appreciate him really coming out and talking about this, because there has been a lot of conversations about this online, and we're going to go into people's arguments in regards to why they think Beyonce should not deserve it or should not have won. And I really love what he has to say. So I'm just going to increase the volume here, and his name is Adiv.
I didn't vote for Cowboy Carter because I'm a fan. I voted for Cowboy Carter because it deserved it. I didn't vote for Doechii because I'm a fan. I voted for Doechii because it deserved it. I didn't vote for Chaperone because I'm a fan. I voted for Chaperone because it deserves it. You see how that works? Anyone that is voicing their problems with Beyonce winning album of the year and country album, best country album, then you're either racist or you don't understand how music works.
I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Beyonce winning album of the year after Jay-Z stood up on that stage the year before and bitched and moaned and complained. Last year, I wasn't going to forgive the Grammys for giving Victoria Monet newest artist of the year over Noah Khan. Beyonce album of the year. Okay, when you had Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan.
Oh, I can't play copyright. Oh my god. Hold on.
The Recording Academy. So I get to vote for who I think deserves the opportunity to move past the first round of voting and then gets up.
Copyright. I'm going to stop and pause.
This year, the general theme that
So I'm not going to play too much of it because he has music played in the background, which I forgot.
Myself and a lot of my peers were conversing about and talking about what.
Hear this out.
Innovation. How many artists feel something new? How many artists did something out of the box? How many took a risk to create? And
Billie Eilish did not take a risk, was not innovative, and did not think outside of the box.
What I found online, to no shock.
Oh my god, no music, thank you. Oh my god.
The veil of racism that exists within white women always comes to the forefront. And I'm seeing a lot of Billie Eilish fans and a lot of Taylor Swift fans saying, why didn't they win? They were robbed. They were robbed. They were robbed. No one was robbed. Billie Eilish is amazing. I love Billie, but why would I vote for Billie Eilish? It's the same album she's always made. It's a different version of the same album she's always made. Taylor Swift, a different version
of the same album she's always made.
If you played me a song from 2 albums ago to now, it sounds the same.
Yes.
Cowboy Carter, for what it's worth, has a monumental impact on disrupting an entire genre of music, giving an opportunity to let other country artists shine who normally wouldn't.
What has Billie Eilish disrupted? And do not comment your emotions. Okay.
Have the opportunity to do so. Starting a conversation.
No offense.
About America, American history, music history, blending musical genres together. The list goes on how I can speak about how phenomenal that album is.
Okay, so we're still on the topic of how phenomenal that album is. So we're just gonna go in and talk about because he goes in on a separate video.
So the Grammys isn't for the public, and it's not an opinion based on public consumption,
yes,
public popularity, or what consumers think. That is more for the Billboard Awards, the People's Choice Awards.
What did I say?
Things like that. I can truly appreciate the Swifties and Taylor Swift's fan base and how you guys really stand.
Because I am seeing a lot of Taylor Swift fans really saying, you know what, listen, Taylor Swift did not deserve TGTBD according to put up against Cowboy Carter, put up against another person's body of work. Again, you guys have to think about that.
And toes down for your girl, and you appreciate her music the way it should be appreciated. Every fan base should appreciate music the way it should be appreciated. But I think that there is a disconnect between the way you love and appreciate Taylor Swift's albums and your inability to see how she hasn't progressed over the last 5 or 6 years as an artist.
And that's fine. And here's the thing with that too. You don't have to progress, but just know the people who have progressed and who are changing, who are evolving, who are impacting culture, impacting their communities are the ones who are going to be getting the award. Like you can sit down and put out the same music over and over again, and that is fine. And your fans will love it because they love you. But at the same time, at the end of the day, if we're talking about a Grammy, an award, if you want to get a Grammy, this is what you need to do.
In a way that an artist at her caliber, her level, her ability,
talking about Beyonce,
to continuously evolve.
Sorry, Billie Eilish needs to evolve.
Beyonce, and for this comparative analysis, there's no one else in that lineup that is as big as them. Each album is drastically different. Each album tries to evoke a different emotion, different writing styles, different delivery, different annotations, different collaborators.
Each album that Beyonce has been putting out is completely different. She challenges herself. She disrupts genres. She tells a story. There is message. And she's putting it on the line. She's always risking. Now, Billie Eilish is a young girl. She doesn't have to do that. Okay, she can put out the same album with Phineas over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, with Taylor Swift, with that producer, over and over again, over and over again. But does that album deserve a Grammy?
And this brings you to this point: is that Taylor Swift doesn't collaborate with enough people, so her ability to grow as an artist and to grow as a songwriter, and this is coming from a songwriter.
Yes.
Songwriters continuously grow. And
so I think he talks about like another point.
Our instrument, which is our positions, whether it's collaborating, challenging, it's not showing us there is not an evolution of Taylor that I would like to see.
Okay, so I think that's it. So he then basically goes in and talks about, you know, to have an album that is truly incredible, you need to be able to collaborate, which is going to go into my next segment, I think, looking at my notes here, which is the arguments that people are getting. Yeah, I was right. The arguments that people are saying in regards to why Billie Eilish should have won. And I've listed it out because I've actually said this to my friend, who's also my colleague, and she's also her and her daughter are a big Billie Eilish fan. And I literally tell them, give me a reason why Billie Eilish should get it. Like, give me a reason. No one is giving me a reason, you know? And she listened to the entire Cowboy Carter album. She goes, she's not a big fan of Beyonce, but she listened to the album, and she's a big fan of old Beyonce. She loved Lemonade. That's what everybody's saying. Oh, she should have gone for Lemonade, but she didn't. And that's why she's evolving, so she can get Album of the Year, create amazing work of art. So I listed all these arguments for my friend, like all of these arguments, all of these positions that people are taking as to why Beyonce doesn't deserve it, or hasn't earned it, or why Billie Eilish deserves it. So I'm going to read it out to you. And it's just fascinating to me, honestly. I don't really understand as to this. And some of the arguments too are weird. And then it goes into like racism. Even the video that he showcased from that white TikToker, she lists all of these artists, and all of these artists that she wanted to win are white. And out of these artists are black. Now, coincidentally, there could be a world in which those black artists are not talented enough to win awards and it's just those white artists, but that's not the case. Okay, let me read to you the arguments that I'm hearing online. And I opened up a conversation on TikTok with a TikTok video that goes, for those of you who are saying that Billie Eilish should have deserved it, give me a position, give me an argument as to why she should deserve it. I'm listening. This is what I'm hearing. Number one, people are saying that they've never heard about the album, which is not true because you've heard of Texas Hold'em. Okay, that's not true. So, is that racism? Like, what? Are you lying? Why are you lying? Number two, because everybody has heard of it. Everybody heard that Beyonce was creating a country album. So you've heard of it. Maybe you never heard of the title, but you've heard of it. But you've also heard of Texas Hold'em. This ain't Texas. Ain't no Hold'em. Let my cards down, 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 down. Everybody heard of that song. Stop. The next position I'm hearing, Jay-Z bought her this album. Now, to you guys' credit, I do believe Jay-Z started the conversation as to why Beyonce hasn't gotten Album of the Year, even though a lot of people in the Bay have been saying this for years. It makes no sense. She has all of these Grammys, but not Album of the Year, not for Beyonce self-titled, not for Lemonade, not for Renaissance. Like, it makes no sense, right? And people are saying that you bought her this album. But I'm like, okay, if Beyonce bought her this album, then Beyonce could have bought her Lemonade. Beyonce could have bought her the self-titled Beyonce album. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, no. These are 13,000 anonymous people who work in the industry. A lot of them are artists. A lot of them are producers or directors and songwriters who are voting each other's work, voting their colleagues' work. They're voting their colleagues' work. You can't buy. Now, what people tend to do, though, people tend to do like a campaign run. Like Doechii did this, right? She went on NPR, did the Tiny Desk. You have to submit work. Like, you have to position yourself so Grammys can see you. And that's like a clear campaign that people do. Like, it's Sabrina did it. Chaperone did it. It's a clear campaign people have to do. So Grammys can see your performances and then rate it. And then there's a campaign. I know there's a campaign that artists do. So the people who are voting, the voting members can see their work. The third position I'm hearing, Billie has more streams. Again, the Grammys base the criteria on artistry, critically acclaim, and innovation and impact. We're not looking at streams. If we were, then Bruno would have cleared it out. Taylor Swift would have cleared it out. We're not talking about streams. This is not the VMAs. This is not People's Choice Awards. You know what I'm trying to say here? Billie and Beyonce's work is being peer reviewed by their own colleagues. The fourth position, if Billie's fans voted, then she should have won. Right. So again, you don't get a vote. Like, the random person doesn't get a vote. Like, you have to be in the industry to get a vote. I think you have to apply too. It's like a whole thing. Beyonce has too many writers on her Cowboy Carter album, and Billie just has her and Phineas, and that's also part of the reason why she didn't win. You hear that guy who was also a voting member? The reason why you have collaborators on your album, either writers or song vocalists or producers or engineers, whatever, is they help to give you another point of view. They challenge your sound. They provide ideas that are not your own. They make your work better. If you can tell that Billie and Phineas have been working on that album because it's the same thing that they've been producing in the last 3 albums. Nothing new, nothing innovative, nothing challenging, nothing risque. Okay? And people are saying, oh, that's the reason, like, Beyonce has 60. First of all, second of all, Beyonce is very generous with her credits. Like, she credits everyone. Like, if she got an idea from me, let's say, like, oh, I'm like, oh, that should be blue, she credits me on the album. And what people don't understand, like, those 60 people who are credited on the album, each and every one of them gets a Grammy. Not a lot of people know that. That's why you see videos going around on TikTok that basically going around on TikTok where people who are songwriters and producers hugging each other because they also get a Grammy. They can put that on their resume. That's why Beyonce is generous, because she wants everybody who contributed to benefit. Billie's album told the story. No, it didn't. I just read you the critiques from the album. I just read you the theme. Billie had a theme, but it did not tell a story. It's like Billie's album, especially Hit Me Hard and Soft, is kind of like a journal into her love life, like a coming of age story, coming of age journal entries. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not nuanced. It's very juvenile, and that's why her fan base is very young. And she's young herself. And I'm not saying juvenile is a bad thing, but it's not, what I'm trying to say, it's not complex. Like, maybe juvenile is the wrong word. Seventh position. Beyonce's album is not country enough. Again, this goes into racism. Okay? If a white person created a country album, then they'll be like, yeah, it'll be nominated. And if it's really great, like Beyonce's, then yeah, it'll be nominated at CMAs. Yeah, it'll be nominated at Grammys. But because Beyonce is black and she's done pop music, Miley Cyrus does pop rock, country, pop, glam. Like, she's done so many different genres. No one has came out to Miley Cyrus and be like, girl, you ain't country. Girl, you ain't pop. Girl, you ain't rock. Like, no. Genre is like a figment of our imagination. We are the ones who redefine genre. We are the ones who can tell people this is what genre is. Like, we don't need to work in the constraint of what genre is. And Beyonce is country. She's from the South. Her ancestors created country music. Black people created country music. And again, for the CMAs to not even nominate her goes into CMA's racism, which delegitimized. See, I got the word! Delegitimize. Hold on, I got it. Delegitimized CMA's entire existence, in my opinion. Now nobody's gonna be watching the CMAs. Everybody's gonna be watching the Grammys. Even I'm pretty sure Shabuzi won. Shabuzi won for some this year at the Grammys, I believe. I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's Google. Shabuzi won a little something. So my overall take off the Grammys, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was too long though, but I know they were raising money for what's it called? The LA fires. He was nominated, but he didn't win. I don't think he won. He was nominated for a bunch, but I don't think he won. So Shabuzi was nominated for Song of the Year, a bar song, Tipsy, which is, I love that song. He nominated for New Artist, nominated for Melodic Rap Performance, Spaghetti, nominated for Country Song, Bar Song, nominated for Country Solo Performance, Bar Song. But I don't think he won. But as a new country artist, I'm sure he's not new. Like, a lot of these artists that we think are new to the mainstream probably have been working as an artist for at least 10 years. So, or 5 years. So for me it's Shabuzi's new, but for him to get on the mainstream like this and make a splash and get nominated for Grammys, his career is going up, and next year he's definitely gonna get a win. So I want you guys to really open your mind and understand as to why Beyonce won. My top 5 performances of the Grammys 2025 are the following. I love Raise. I love Chaperone. I love Benson Boone. I loved, of course, Cynthia Erivo. I loved, what's my girl, Doechii. Who else was amazing? I think that's pretty much it. Those are my top 5, I think. It was amazing. I loved it. It was really fun. Like, even Taylor Swift was dancing. Like, Kendrick Lamar got sweeped a lot of awards. Sweep. It was amazing. I think this was like the first time. I think award seasons are back. And everybody's really excited for 2026. But I think everybody's going to step up their game for next year. Now that award seasons are back, people, especially Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is probably really flattered that people are talking about her like this. But she's probably like, yeah, listen, Beyonce is like my idol, and please do not tell me I should have won before Beyonce. Like, she's probably mortified. And there's a video going around, like, Billie Eilish, like, crying over Beyonce's win, and then Billie Eilish's mom hugged Beyonce. Like, they're probably just happy to be in the same 5 feet of Beyonce. Listen, what people don't get is that everybody in that Grammys room, that award show, 92% of them look up to Beyonce and respect her talent and her hustle. Okay? Like, a lot of them are millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alphas, and who are looking at Beyonce as their idol. So if you're a Billie fan, you're acting like a fool. I just gotta say, you're acting like a fool. And I know Billie Eilish never come to the internet and tell her fans to be quiet. I wish she did. But, you know, I don't think that's Billie Eilish's role. But I think this was fun. This was great. This was a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. Hopefully you guys got where I was coming from. Yes, Beyonce's going on tour for a few dates in the US, and I'm trying to get on one of those seats. And if you don't like Beyonce, please do not get a ticket to go to Cowboy Carter. Please don't. Okay? Please do subscribe, to like, to comment, put your comments down below to save space. Share this to anybody who is a Billie Eilish fan who, you know, doesn't like Beyonce, doesn't get it. And hopefully with this video, they're more enlightened and have a greater perspective on where people are coming from. Okay? And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay woke, stay happy, and stay safe. Oh, I don't like the word woke. But I like saying it here. Bye, guys.